dumbest show. The dumbest show. This is the dumbest show. The dumbest show. The dumbest show. The dumbest show. You sure we're going the right way? That sign says Thailand over there.
Two of you are the worst. Stop, please. We need to focus.
Okay.
This is a real problem.
You're shorter. You can pedal. I can't go anywhere.
No.
What?
Wow! Hi, everybody. One-handed.
Oh, he's a disaster.
This is a little harder than they thought.
I read the news today.
You call this the dumbest show?
Yeah,
Look at
absolutely.
us.
After
This
that,
is
yeah.
great.
This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for August 14th, 2024. Disney has asked a Florida court to dismiss a wrongful death lawsuit filed earlier this year regarding a woman who passed away due to anaphylaxis after a meal at Disney Springs, citing an arbitration waiver in terms and conditions for Disney Plus. According to Newsday, Disney has asked a Florida court to dismiss the wrongful death lawsuit filed by Jeffrey Piccolo, the husband of the victim, a doctor at NYU in New York City, who passed away after eating a meal at Raglan Road Irish Pub in Disney Springs back in October of 2023. You probably remember this story. Tang Swan had a severe dairy and nut allergy and informed the waitstaff at the restaurant of her dietary needs and was unequivocally assured they could be accommodated. She ordered and ate the Sure I'm Frittered vegetarian broccoli and corn fritters and the Scallop Forest sea scallops appetizer, the This Shepherd Went Vegan entree, and a side of onion rings. On a side note, maybe don't put the weird names of the food items in a story where someone died. Newsday, just to, you know, it's kind of sad. After their meal, Piccolo returned to their hotel room, and Tang Swan and her mother-in-law continued to shop at Disney Springs. Later that evening, Tang Swan had an acute allergic reaction in Planet Hollywood, self-administered an EpiPen, and was transported to a local hospital where she later died. In the latest update for the Disney Springs wrongful death lawsuit, Disney cited legal language within the terms and conditions for Disney Plus, which requires users to arbitrate all disputes with the company. Disney claims Piccolo reportedly agreed to this in 2019 when signing up for a one-month free trial of the streaming service on his PlayStation console. In the May 31st motion filed to move the wrongful death lawsuit to arbitration, Disney attorneys said that the Disney Plus subscriber agreement states that any dispute except for small claims must be resolved by individual binding arbitration. Disney says that similar language was agreed to by Piccolo when he used the My Disney Experience app to purchase tickets to visit EPCOT at Walt Disney World in September of 2023. Tang Swan died before she and Piccolo could use the tickets, though. Whether Piccolo actually reviewed the Disney terms is also immaterial, the motion says. Arbitration is defined by the Legal Information Institute as an alternative dispute resolution method where the parties in dispute agree to have their case heard by a qualified arbitrator out of court. Attorneys for Piccolo called Disney's latest motion preposterous and that it's absurd to believe that the 153 million subscribers to the popular streaming service have waived all claims against the company and its affiliates because of language buried within the terms and conditions. The notion that the terms agreed to by a consumer when creating a Disney Plus free trial account would forever bar that consumer's right to a jury trial in any dispute with Disney's affiliate or subsidiaries is so outrageously unreasonable and unfair as to shock the judicial conscience, and this court should not enforce such an agreement. That's what Brian Denny, Piccolo's West Palm Beach attorney, in a filing on August 2nd had to say. In that same filing, attorney for Piccolo's cite that Piccolo is serving as a plaintiff in the case on behalf of his wife and her estate, not as an individual, and that his wife's estate did not exist at the time of him signing up for a free trial of Disney+. Piccolo's attorneys claim that Disney is attempting to enforce an agreement that it never signed against a party who also never signed. This argument borders on the surreal, said Piccolo's attorneys. Walt Disney Parks and Resorts and their attorneys declined Newsday's request for comment. On the opposite side of this, that's a real. I'm trying to think of a way I could say this with children watching in the audience. That's a real nasty way to try to get a trial thrown out. That being said, they're not trying to pay nothing. They are trying to go to arbitration, where you would have a third party there to be a part of that negotiation. So it's not as if Disney's trying to not pay anything. They just are trying to avoid court. It's not that they're trying to avoid a settlement. So they at least want to go to a table with, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's just interesting that the course of events that this case has taken at this point. Walt Disney World has released the full lineup of food and beverages for the 2024 EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival, including a few new offerings. This year's global marketplace lineup includes 5 new food booths. There's the Macatizer's menu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know what that is. Festival favorites, the Bramblewood Bites, Milled and Mulled, and Forest and Field. If you want to see the full menus, they're available at wwnt.com. There are hundreds of items. We don't really have the time to read them here. Only very long legal jargon can be read on this show, as opposed to menus. The newest Dooney and Bourke collection, themed to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, has arrived at Walt Disney World. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is celebrating its 75th anniversary this October, and merchandise celebrating the animated movie and the theme park attraction is being released. A lot of this began at D23. The Mr. Toad's Wild Ride Dooney and Bourke tote is $268. The all-over design is in shades of green and tan as Mr. Toad takes his motor car for a spin across the countryside. He careens past Mole, the Rat, Ratty, and a hitchhiking weasel. The metal Dooney and Bourke placard is above Mr. Toad, and the back of the bag has the same design as the front. The bag has brown trim and small metal feet on the bottom. There's also a crossbody bag for $228. It has the same design as the tote, but the brand placard is below the motor car instead of above. And unlike the tote, the crossbody features a different design on the other side. Here you'll find a smiling Toad to the right of Cyril Proudbottom, who is hauling a carriage. And on the bottom, townsfolk harried by Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and his motor car are seen up in arms over his behavior. The Haunted Mansion Raven shoulder plush, here he is. He's so cute. Which debuted at D23, is now available at Walt Disney World. We first found it in the Emporium and Memento Mori in the Magic Kingdom. It's $29.99. The Raven, of course, appears throughout the Haunted Mansion at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and Tokyo Disneyland, for that matter. It was originally intended to be the host of the ride, which is why it shows up so many times. And while the ghost host became the narrator, the Raven's eerie presence has remained. In fact, in one early draft, the Raven is not only the host, but is trying to steal your soul throughout the attraction. It's pretty weird, the original draft from, I think, from '67, but it's a little crazy. Much like on the attraction, the Raven's eyes will glow red when activated. It also makes noises. And attached to your shoulder via a magnet, there's a magnet at the bottom of the plush, and then, of course, a thin ovular fabric-covered magnet base, which is under the shirt, which is under mine right now, right, buddy? Yeah. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and their team will design your next magical vacation for the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts, to the Disney Cruise Line, to Adventures by Disney, and more. I've personally used them to book our Treasure maiden voyage. I'm going to use them to book the Destiny as well. Make it their problem, because there are a lot of dates and things you have to remember, and I don't remember them at my old age. So I use Be Our Guest because of this. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free, so book today. New concept art for the Disney Vacation Club Island Tower at Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows were revealed at D23. The 3 renderings in the middle of the display are from the new Island Tower. The above photo shows a family enjoying the living area of an Island Tower room. The image is similar to previously released concept art and was probably taken in a model room or digitally created. We're not sure. The room includes an L-shaped couch below a Murphy bed. The artwork on the wall depicts animals in an ocean and sky. A swirl on the sun and the shape of the green hills is reminiscent of Moana. Disney, of course, added the IP to other Polynesian rooms a few years ago and said it would prove as inspiration for the tower as well. The next piece of new concept art depicts a restaurant. A large green fish sculpture hangs from the ceiling. There are bench seats and chairs around light brown tables. Large windows look outside. This may be the restaurant under construction on the first floor of the Island Tower. Concept art was released with the announcement of the Island Tower's name. It depicts the tower's, the next piece at least, that depicts the tower's lobby. The most interesting image is a first look at a new Moana-inspired splash pad, though. A life-size sculpture depicts Moana on her boat, holding her oar and sail, and the floor of the splash pad is in different shades of blue and fountains shoot water into the air. Another piece on display depicts a section of the tower's exterior, which we've also seen in previous concept art. The Island Tower will open on December 17th. Bookings are open now. You know, I know people, I was pretty positive about a lot of D23 stuff, so people keep going on there. Now he's a shill. No, not really, because I still think this thing is terrible. That restaurant just looks like what they did to Kona, so they look almost the same, and I hate that there are things that just look the same. I really hate that. I really don't like the look of anything in this tower. I really hate this project, but it's too late, it's happening, and it's opening later this year, so we're stuck with it. The newest annual Passholder magnet featuring Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King is now available at Animal Kingdom. The magnet can be picked up from Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures in Dinoland from August 14th, that's today, through September 22nd. A sign in Dinoland points guests to the distribution location and reminds them that all pass holders must be present to pick up their magnet and must show their annual pass and ID. Cast members in the store will scan the annual pass and check the photo ID before they give you the magnet. The souvenir depicts Timon and Pumbaa smiling at each other in the center of the iconic Walt Disney World D icon. In addition to the magnet, pass holders can enjoy an exclusive Rafiki-themed treat and special photo op. The Rafiki Wildberry and Dole Whip Orange Float from Trilobites features wildberry syrup and Fanta orange swirled into an orange-flavored Dole Whip. The photo op by the Discovery River between Africa and Asia will put Timon and Pumbaa in guest photos. These are also available again August 14th through September 22nd. One of the major announcements out of D23 was the upcoming debut of a Walt Disney Audio Animatronics figure. But not everyone in the Disney family is happy about the development. The figure is set to star in Walt Disney: A Magical Life at the Main Street Opera House for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. The animatronic has been long rumored and controversial. In support of the figure, Walt Disney's grandnephew Roy P. Disney appeared at the event. Now those opposing to seeing the company's founder immortalized in animatronic form are questioning why Walt Disney's direct surviving descendants weren't the ones speaking out in support. The Facebook page, It All Started with Walt Disney, is sharing messages and testimonies from relatives and individuals who knew Walt Disney and his family. The page's organizer, Leo N. Holzer, posted the following statement in opposition to the animatronic based on the sentiments of Joanna Miller. Miller is Walt Disney's granddaughter through his daughter Diane. Isn't it strange that Disney trotted out Roy Pat Disney and not one of Walt's own grandchildren to deliver the stamp of approval on the audio animatronic Walt Disney for a show in Disneyland's Opera House? Well, after I shared the information with Joanna Miller, Walt's eldest granddaughter, and who is as much as a bulldog as her mother Diane when it comes to protecting and preserving the Disney name and legacy, she is not in favor. I am overwhelmed with disgust and anger. Mom would be ready to fight. I think it shows a lack of respect for Grandpa. Walt is already branded and used by the company every day. I rather feel he is being used, victimized by the company, and as someone else posted, they will be able to make him do and say whatever they choose. The movements are not necessarily his. Already the smile is wrong. I had thought he had built the company and that Grandpa would be amazed at what it encompasses now. I thought that the company and Bob Iger was sensitive to the memory of Walt and the sentiments of his daughter, my mother, Diane. Joanna is arguably the most publicly active member of Walt's side of the family. She attended many events at Walt's barn and recently completed a period-specific renovation of Uncle Robert Disney's house. The Craftsman home on Kingswell Avenue is where Walt first stayed upon arriving in L.A., and Holzer also shared a screenshot of a Facebook post by Miller, whose profile is restricted. The page also shared a quote from former Imagineer Blaine Gibson taken from a 1995 interview. "There are several reasons I would be against doing that, and it isn't just the sacred aspect of it. I just know how crude our medium is relative to the human figure. You can't get Walt's smile. You can't program that smile that I've gotten on Walt's statue and have him be able to go into that. You'd have to move from a scowl to a smile because Walt at times would get a twisted up expression and one eyebrow would go up. He had a facial range that was absolutely beyond our capability." Of course, audio animatronics technology has come a long way since the mid-1990s, which may negate Gibson's objections, but Gibson also passed away in 2015. I'm going to weigh in on this a little. There are plenty of things I weigh in on, like, Country Bears and things like that, where I feel like I'm in an appropriate place to speak. I did not know Walt Disney. I never worked with him. And so these people have a valid opinion, right? I mean, they're welcome to have it. So are other members of the family. What I will say is I don't know that there is a tremendous difference between the Walt Disney Company honoring him in an attraction or doing so in an attraction with his animatronic, right? Let's remember that just 6 years after he passed away, Walt Disney World and Disneyland introduced their first Walt Disney Life Celebration attraction in the Walt Disney Story. Of course, we all love One Man's Dream. I think it's wonderful, and I am fully in support of further attractions that celebrate his life. And I think if any Disney park in the world is going to celebrate the life of Walt Disney, it should be at Disneyland. I think look, we are getting, every year we get further removed from when he was alive. I only really feel, and I'm sure for some of you it's very much the same, my connection with Walt comes through people he worked with who I got to meet or listen to speak, right? And we are down to the last few of those, right? Bob Gurr is still around and a handful of others, but we're really almost at the end of the life of everyone who worked with Walt Disney. So as the years progress, we are going to get further and further away from him. And so to have an attraction that is the connection for some people to him, and let's remember the people outside of Disney fandom, he may appear to not be a real person. I think there's so many people where they think he maybe is a made-up character. I think international guests are just some guests coming to Disneyland for the first time. So to have an attraction that lays that foundation for people and tells people what an amazing entertainer and innovator he was is, I think, integral, right? I love that we have One Man's Dream. I love that we're going to have something at Disneyland. And I do think we've gotten to the point with audio animatronics technology that maybe Blaine could have never imagined. Let's remember the last generation, well, 2 generations, I think technically 2 generations ago, was the last Lincoln figure. When that Lincoln figure debuted in 2009, it was crazy. Like, you couldn't believe the things that figure was doing. These new all-electric figures are also fantastic. So if this is going to be supposedly a notch above what we've seen in Fantasy Springs and elsewhere, then, I think this could be spectacular. And I also think, look, people in Walt Disney Imagineering are very seldom the problem, right? Management is often the problem. I cannot imagine that the incredibly talented people who create and program audio animatronics are not studying all of the footage they possibly can, not just from the internet, but let's remember, they have access to the Walt Disney Archives, which undoubtedly has hundreds of thousands of hours of footage of Walt Disney, both when he knew he was on camera and both just him experiencing things, right? Like and I'm sure they could ask the Family Museum for more candid footage as well if the archives doesn't have it. I'm sure they share. So there is the ability to capture him, and there's a couple people still alive who worked with him who they could have come in and give their thoughts on it. I believe they are approaching this with great reverence, because what we have to realize here is this is not a project that's going to directly make money. This isn't something they're doing to make money, because it's not going to make money. This isn't going to sell merchandise. I don't think it's really going to sell tickets. If you're going to Disneyland for its 70th birthday, you're going to go anyway. This is really just a project done out of love. This is not, a Cars Land being built in Magic Kingdom or a Villains Land or Encanto. This is none of those things. This is a project that you really only go after because you feel it's the right project to go after. This is not, and kudos to the executives who approved this, because again, it's not a direct profit center. So if it's not a direct profit center, then the purpose has to be it's out of love. So if it's out of love, if it's coming from the right place and it's done right, I think this could be spectacular. Let me know how you feel in the comments, but I'm super excited. I love this idea. I just think we're all going to be in tears. And as for her comment that they're going to make him say whatever they want him to say, they've never done that, right? And I don't think they're going to. They've always used archival audio of him. And so in the Walt Disney Story and One Man's Dream, those are narrated by him. That is, audio taken from an interview he conducted. That's not altered in any way. I would assume that they're going to do the same thing for this. They're not going to AI generate audio for Walt Disney. That's not going to be a thing. If this is being done with reverence, they will use audio that he actually spoke, and so they will not put words in his mouth. I have to believe that. If they say that, I will join you all on the other side of the fence if that's the case. But I don't believe that's what's happening here. But let me know in the comments. I'm curious how everyone feels. Disneyland Resort is celebrating Halloween time with a new set of Disney Villains trading cards exclusively for Magic Key holders. Announced via a reel on the Disneyland Magic Key official Instagram account, Magic Key holders will be able to start collecting this new series of exclusive trading cards starting August 26th. One new card will be released each week, Monday through Thursday until September 19th. A total of 4 cards will be released. Disneyland hasn't confirmed which villains are on the cards, though the teaser video shared on social media features the Evil Queen in her witch form, Jafar and Yzma. As for the 4th one, well, I can't tell. I don't know who that is. Maybe you guys know. I didn't stare at it very long either. That could be the problem. But there will be a limit of 1 trading card per Magic Key holder while supplies last. Admission and park reservations are required to enter the park to get your Disney Villains trading cards, though a distribution location has not yet been announced. Iconic Southern California institution Porto's Bakery has announced they announced, of course, their new downtown Disney location back in 2022 in the former home of La Brea Bakery. However, there has not been much movement or news about the location since. Some thought the project was dead. However, Porto's has since confirmed in a release this week that the popular cafe and bakery is moving forward with their new 7th location at the Disneyland Resort. It will open in 2025. Rosa Porto and her family started Porto's out of their home, eventually growing to 6 locations in Southern California. They're known for their unique Cuban dishes, both sweet and savory, like guava and cheese strudel, cheese rolls, empanadas, and cakes. Now they're modernizing their operations in preparation for the move to the new digital ordering system. According to the company, Porto's took the #1 spot on Yelp's top 100 places to eat in the U.S. In 2021, Porto's Bakery was voted the best bakery in Southland, according to the Los Angeles Times. I've had Porto's. It's magnificent. Cannot wait. Very excited for this next year. I'm going to take my Porto's. It's not going to be allowed, but I'm going to take it into the Walt Disney show, and it's going to be the experience of a lifetime. I'm joking. You're not allowed to eat in there. Don't do that. Disneyland Paris is adding 2 new drone sequences to the Disney Electrical Sky Parade for the Halloween Festival and Enchanted Christmas. Concept art shared by Disneyland Paris on Instagram shows an orange ghost and bats above Sleeping Beauty Castle, or of course, as they call it there, La Château de la Belle Abourdement at Disneyland Park. 2 blue barren trees appear to stick up from behind the castle, and more are projected onto the structure. Meanwhile, the Christmas sequence features a projected toy drummer and presents, and 2 green trees made of green swirls rise from behind the castle, along with large blue snowflakes. The images in the sky are created with light-up drones that also shoot out smoke and pyrotechnics. The Halloween Festival at Disneyland Paris will run October 1st through November 3rd. The Enchanted Christmas event is November 9th through January 6th. The Disney Electrical Sky Parade, inspired by the classic Main Street Electrical Parade, debuted earlier in this year. It will run until January 6th of 2025, when that Christmas tag ends as well. Real quick, I want to plug our Shanghai vlog series. If you haven't watched this yet, it is, I think, the most in-depth vlog series anyone has ever done on any of the Disney parks. It is over 9 hours in length. It's broken up into episodes, though, so don't worry. You can watch all 9 parts. They're all released now, so you can binge watch them starting right now. Please check them out right here on the channel. A lot of work went into these. We're going to be doing a series from Hong Kong as well that I recorded while I was there. I also have 2 of the final episodes of the Tokyo vlogs that'll be releasing soon, and I think we've made the decision at this point that there are a couple Tokyo vlogs from my time there that we held back because some people on the channel were complaining that there was too much Tokyo content. We've decided that for our WIGS members, we're going to release those to you at some point in the future. So those will be WIGS exclusive, all levels. So if you're not already a WIGS member, please go join at patreon.com/WDWNT. We're also playing with the idea of, for those of you that aren't Wigs members or don't want to join through Patreon, we're playing with the idea of a, I think they call it, Jake, is it subscriptions on YouTube or is it?
I think it's membership.
It's membership, right? Yeah, yeah. So we're playing around with the idea of the membership program on YouTube because I know not everyone likes Patreon, where we could release some of that stuff exclusively to you here on the channel as well. Also the idea of possibly live streaming news today to you guys when we actually record it. We're playing around with a lot of stuff like that in order to build up support. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We've had a lot of changes in the travel news business since November. I don't know how honest other creators in our space have been. Not so much on the YouTube side, but we're still growing our YouTube division. But on the news side, on the website side, the travel media industry was greatly impacted starting last November by a Google algorithm change, and we have been fighting through that essentially since November. So, you know, to let you in a bit on the logistics of running this company, in order to balance the books and to keep everybody employed and continue to bring you news from the Disney Parks Daily, we're looking at other revenue streams. That's why you've probably seen us talk about Carousel of Products more. You've seen us talk about on Instagram. We have a totally separate subscription service as well, where I share stories from like behind the scenes of filming here and things like that. It's mostly just because we're trying to generate other revenue streams so we can continue to bring you the news as we bring it to you today. There are a lot of people that are not me that work in this company that are, you know, from Jake back there behind the camera to our reporters that go out every day. There's several of them here in Florida, a couple in California, some in Japan. Reporters all around the world, an entire team of writers and editors, social media team, you know, the people that keep the website running, etc. It is a large team of people that make all this happen. I just happen to be the face that appears on camera. So if you appreciate what we do, we appreciate the support. You know, if you can't financially help support us, we appreciate just that you come watch the show as much as you can, read the stories on the website, hit the like button, subscribe. All those things help as well. But if you want to financially support us, we're trying to find all different ways and ones that will benefit you in the best way. So if Patreon doesn't work for you, you know, we're going to work on some other ways as well. But the Patreon program is great. We have a great community there on the Discord, lots of great content and interactive opportunities with us as well. So just want to make sure we plug that. And we thank you all for your continued support. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. I already plugged Wigs, so I'm going to plug Carousel of Products because our Tower of Terror 30th anniversary shirt, the button-up, is still on sale. We're going to keep it on sale until the last however many are gone. They are almost gone, in fact, so go grab yours at carouselofproducts.com or shop.wdwnt.com. I don't know which one it's at right now. We're in a bit of a transition period there, but definitely go grab that. We also have lithographs that are made specially for the anniversary available and lots of other great products there as well. So go check that out and please shop. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Now, light speed to Endor. I'm afraid to pick it up. It's very big and expensive. I don't want to do that.